Hello. Okay. So my mic is still absolutely trash, but this should be good. Alright, so today I'm gonna help you figure out how to make your Artfight all pretty. Yeah. You see all these people, you constantly see all these people, these amazing Artfight profiles, and you want one for yourself? And then you hear people talk about coding? Yeah, that's some crazy stuff. Let me tell you, as a person who spent 3 days straight trying to figure out how this thing works, I think I finally got it. As you can see, this is mine. This is pre-made, by the way. I didn't make this from scratch. I'm not that good. But yeah, this is my profile. This is my first year on Artfight, so yippee! I'm just showing you this as an example of what you could be doing. This could be you. All these moving gifs and pictures and stickers. Now, first you're gonna want to go to Toy House. If you don't have a Toy House, that's fine. But Toy House is like where I got mine from, so that's why I'm using it as an example. It's also an invite-only website, so it's just, you're just gonna need to get invited. But like, there's plenty of users, and like, they have codes that they like get every month. So it's much easier than getting something like a vegan code. So first, you're gonna want to go to search. And then, you see this? You see this bad boy? This is the one you want. The HTML, that's the code for the site. This is what you want. Deselect everything else. And then you search for it. And then, because Artfight is like right around the corner, you're going to be seeing plenty of these. And see, Artfight, 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 plenty of Artfight. And all you have to do is just scroll down until you see the one you want. There's plenty of assets available, and some of them are according to the theme this year. So that's what you want to do. So we're not going to be using mine, but basically just scroll down, find the one you want. See, circus theme. Okay, that one's for the site. That's not, there's a difference between a CSS and an HTML. The difference is that one changes the entire site, and then the other one just changes specifically your page. The HTML is what we want because the CSS is only available for people who have premium on Artfight. So we're just going to use this one. That way it'll be easy. These are the do's and do nots. You see, what you want is free to use. FTU. TU. Point is, these are their guidelines and rules for using it. See, the do's and don'ts, what works and what doesn't, but that's a whole bunch of code jargon. Here's a live preview, and then it sends you over to their page because they're the ones using it, and this is what it looks like. This is their code, by the way. Okay, let's go back. And then sometimes they have it in their, like, this little thing. I forgot what it's called. Tags? Yeah, I think it's like a tag. And then they usually put it in a separate tag. That's what I'm trying to say. And then what you do is that you highlight the entire code. Just the whole thing. You don't want to miss any bits of it. Where you want to end it is at this. The last divide. that's the end of the code. And then you want to copy the whole thing. And then you're going to want to go back to Artfight. Go back to your profile page and then click edit. And then afterwards, you go all the way down. And then you're going to see public description. This is where you slap the code. So you're going to want to do full screen so that you can actually see what you're doing. I'm doing all this on a laptop, so, you know, it's a bit hard doing this on a phone, so I recommend a laptop. And then you're going to want to open it up by clicking those arrows, the arrow keys. And then this is the code for what I already have up, but we're just gonna make some space to put the new one in. Yeah, I like that sound of my keyboard. It's like sandalwood. So this is the code, and then you close this up in order to see what you're even doing. And boom, here's the code. This is what it looks like when it's empty, and mine is like right down there because they're right next to each other. I didn't delete the previous one, so they're both next to each other. I said that twice. Listen, sometimes I'm good at this, okay? Sometimes I'm good at this. So, for the most part, you should be able to edit everything without touching the code itself. Think of it like prying. Think of it like pulling the cover off of a keyboard. That's what the code view is. It's the cover. And when you pull it off, you see the code underneath. But like I said, you should be able to tweak everything just right here. But of course, sometimes it gets weird. So when you try to like put an image in there, so what I did here was just replace the image, but sometimes the images don't go in correctly, so you do have to go into the code. But if you had just put the code in, okay, so what I'm doing here is opening up File Garden. That's what I use in order to keep all my pictures. Because, yeah, it's like, it's in the name. So, not that one. This one. And then you just take the URL, copy and paste it into the URL for the replacement image. Wrong tab. Okay, right here. And then, boom. There you go. Now, it doesn't always work like that, and like I was saying before, sometimes it doesn't work. So you have to go into the code itself. But think of it, again, think of it like just pulling the cover off to see the motherboard underneath the keyboard. And that makes more sense. You don't have to tweak it. But if you're just putting it in, the instructions will still be there. Once you save it, the instructions will disappear, so you should just think about that while you're typing it in. Try to remember where things are, because the instructions will disappear on you. You will not be able to get them back unless you do the whole thing over again, and that's way unnecessary. You just have to look for the black text, because that's where all the typing for the words is. See? Personal info in black. That's the stuff you wanna edit. Not anything else. So here, content, and I'm just gonna put something else. See, I'm just changing it. You can do this in the normal, yeah, you can do this on the keyboard side of it. You don't have to pull open the code. But it's just to show you that sometimes there are certain pieces that just don't work very well when you do it. So you have to go into the code to make sure it looks good. But other than that, small stuff, everything should be fine. And of course, you want to get assets that fit the frame. But yeah, then you just edit the whole thing, and then you go all the way to the bottom, and then click submit in order to save. So I'm not going to submit it because there's a lot of work and I don't want to have to figure out the difference between the codes again. But you click submit to save your progress, and you can always go back and edit it later. So now we go back to the profile and see I didn't save it, so there's nothing of what I just did. But you absolutely should save it, even if the code's a little bit wonky, as long as you didn't delete anything that wasn't in black text, then you should be fine. So that's it. I mean, there's extra steps, but that's just personal stuff. That's the customizing phase, the fun part of it. But yeah, that is how you take a pre-made code and put it into Artfight. And now credits to the person who made this right here, because mine is pre-made. I didn't make this myself. This was made by Katso. She made this, and as you can see, it's literally just the Windows version of the one she's using now. Yeah. That's everything. That's everything you need to know about how to just use the pre-made ones off of Toy House. I'm glad you watched this far in the video. Team comedy. We gonna win this one, you know? I've been on the losing side for too many years. Splatfest has not been kind to me. Okay? I have a little bit of issues.